Hi guys. Gosh, I'm just still crazy missing you guys so very much. Um, as a matter of fact, I'm sitting in our classroom. It's kind of chilly down here, but I like to record these as close to you guys as I can. So this Sunday, we're going to talk about the story of Ruth and Naomi. And Pastor Tim's word was committed. So I wanted to talk to you as much about Ruth and Naomi as what friendship means, and especially friendship during this crazy time of COVID that we're going through and not being able to see your friends and play with your friends like you're used to. So, Naomi is Ruth's mother in law, and Naomi lived in a town called Bethlehem with her husband and her two sons, and one of those sons was married to Naomi. And Naomi praised God every single day, just for her family and just for health and blessings, and she was very happy. But there was a famine in Bethlehem. And with a famine, that means that there was not enough food to eat. So we're kind of going through a pandemic with COVID where everyone's getting sick, and so we have to be separated. But with a famine, there was just not enough food to go around. And for a quick second, that might have kind of happened with us with the pandemic. But I'm sure you guys would never notice that with your tummies because I'm sure your parents made sure that you were fed very well. Naomi and her family had to move away from Bethlehem, and they had to go to a strange land to live where they could find food. They had to leave everything and everyone they knew, and that made Naomi very sad. So she wasn't happy anymore because she had to leave everything that she knew, and she had to go to this strange place. During this time, Naomi's husband died, and that made her even more sad, just terribly sad. And then Naomi's two sons got married, and again, that made her happy, and that was when one of her sons married Ruth, and the other one married Orpah. And then, not long after that, both of Naomi's sons died. So she lost her husband, and then she lost both of her boys. So then she was just had her two daughter-in-laws. She was really, really super sad. And she couldn't understand why God would allow these things to happen to her, which, I'm sure a lot of people in today's world are kind of wondering why COVID is happening and we're all at a stay-at-home order and we can't go to school, we can't go to church. We're limited in how many of us can be in a grocery store right now. But there's a reason. There's a reason that God does everything. And Naomi at this time felt as if God had forgotten her, and she was really sad, and she was actually becoming very angry. She wondered what would happen to herself and to Ruth and to Orpah, because the men provided for them. So here were these three women who had to figure out how to get things together for themselves. So Naomi decided that she was going to go back to Bethlehem, and she was going to just leave her two daughter-in-laws. She thought that they would be better off without her if they went back to their families, and she would continue to go where she knew the most of everything, and that was back in Bethlehem. So she told Orpah and Ruth to go back to their mother's home, and she said to them, "I pray that the Lord's kindness to you as you have shown my sons and me, and may you both find new husbands to take care of you." And she kissed them both, and she walked away crying. But Ruth and Orpah said, "We don't want to leave you. Please don't make us leave." And they cried and they begged for her to stay or to allow them to go with her. Naomi told them that she couldn't take care of them, that she was much too old for them, and she couldn't have any more sons for them to marry, and that she had no money. And so then all three of them were still crying. And then she tried again. She tried to say goodbye again, and she tried to leave them. But Ruth, she just wasn't going to leave. And she said, "Don't make me leave you." She said to her, "I will go wherever you go. I will stay wherever you stay, and your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." Naomi realized that Ruth was not going to go home. She was stuck to her like butter on bread, and they hugged each other, and they set off for Bethlehem. Now, let me tell you, that's commitment. That's commitment that Ruth was willing to leave everything that she knew and the opportunity to get remarried again and to go with her mother-in-law and to follow her and to go wherever she wanted to go. When they got to Bethlehem, Ruth went to a nearby field to glean some leftover wheat so that she and Naomi would have something to eat. And when I talk about gleaning, it's after the farmer has gone through the field, what's left, they were allowed to pick up what was left, and they could, just small pieces of grain and wheat that they could take home and probably make bread, or I'm not even sure what they could cook at that time. The farmer who owned the field just happened to be a relative of Naomi's. His name was Boaz. And Boaz liked Ruth very much because he saw that she was kind and she was hardworking. So Naomi would stay over to the side, and Ruth would go into that field every single day and glean what was left after the farmers. And that's tough on your body, bending over and reaching and putting it in baskets and then carrying those baskets. It wasn't long before Boaz fell in love with Ruth, and that made Naomi very happy. Now she had someone to take care of Ruth and her. After a while, Ruth had a baby boy, and she named him Obed. And this, again, made Naomi very, very happy. Even though Boaz was not her son, he took care of them like he was her son. And so this kind of became her grandson, which made her very happy. You guys know how happy you are when you're with your grandparents and how happy they are when they get to see you. So in the end, it turned out really, really good because Ruth stayed committed to Naomi. She remained her friend, and she loved her through all of that. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. I want you to take just a few minutes, and I want you to write down the qualities that you like about your friends and the things that they do for you. And then I want you to take a few minutes and write down your own qualities and what makes you a good friend. For me, I love that my friends can listen to me and that they hug me. Well, not at this moment, but typically we hug each other. And that holidays and fun times, my birthday, I get to spend with them. And I'm pretty sure my friends love that I can pray for them, that I can hug them, minus social distancing, and that I can make them laugh, because I can be pretty silly. You guys know how silly I can be. So I love the fact that I have different and unique qualities than most of my friends, but that's what makes us really good friends. We're committed to each other. We love each other. And through this time of COVID, definitely I've been praying for my friends as much as I've been praying for you guys. And I consider each one of you my friends. I would do anything and everything just to make sure that you guys are safe and very well taken care of. Being a good friend, it takes a long time to learn because you have to love that friend, whether they're mean to you, they're happy, they're sad. You have to love them through all of that. And a good friend is loyal, which means that if you make a promise to them, you have to keep that promise. That's super important. You can't just say, I'm going to do this for you, and you don't do it. That's not a good friend. So if you say, I want to go to this party with you, or gosh, with social distancing, it makes me think just a little bit harder. But whatever promise that you make to your friend, you have to make sure that you follow through with that. Sometimes, even when you don't feel like being a friend and you just don't want to be bothered, or they're just annoying you that day, you still have to be committed to them. And I mean, that's what being a good friend is all about. Sometimes our friends aren't perfect, just like we're not perfect. They make mistakes, just like we make mistakes. And we don't want our friends to leave us when that happens. So we have to remember to stick by them. And even if they make good choices that we don't like, we still have to love them through that. God gives us friends when we need them. They're like this special gift from God. Just like in the story, Naomi could have insisted that the women come with her, but instead, in a very unselfish way, she wanted them to go live their life, and she wanted to go back to where she came from, and she just wanted to be happy again, and she knew that if Ruth and Orpah went with her, they may not be happy, and she wanted them to be as happy as she was going to be. Ruth had such a good attitude, and she just wanted to help. So that's why she gleaned those fields. She never complained once. And then God brought her a special gift in Boaz, someone that would actually love her and give her a baby later on. So see how God's plan works all of it out together in the end? There's only one thing that you have to do in all of that, and you have to trust him. So let me say a prayer, and then I have 2 little crafts that I want to show you. So if you'll just take a minute to bow your heads with me. Father God, I just thank you so much that we are all staying healthy. And Father, I just pray right now that all of us right now are just learning how to be good friends. May these children know how much of a good friend that you really are to them through all of this, that they can rely on you, they can trust you, and they know how much you love them. Father, I pray for our country. I pray for our family. I pray for our friends. I pray for those that are sick. Lord, may they be getting some healing. Father, I just pray for your protection over us. And Lord, more than anything, I pray that as the continuing of the healing happens, that we are able to gather again in your name. In your precious and holy name, Lord, I pray. Amen. So most of you probably have these silly little sticks laying around. So I put some together, and you know I love fun colors. So I just drew on here 2 little happy faces. I guess I made boys. I probably could have made some girls. But I wrote on here, friends stick together. Get it? Stick. And friends really do stick together. Friends love each other through everything. So this is a cute little reminder that you can make. And all I did was just tape the back. As easy as that. Put them together, and they don't have to be any special color. This is just my colors. You know, yellow is my absolute favorite color. Another thing that I did, and I will put this little pattern on the website, but I made a cat because who doesn't like to color? Gosh, I love to color. But on this little cat, it says friends stick together. It's probably a little bit difficult to see. But he's 2-sided, so whichever way that you look at him, he's kind of cute, and he sticks up. I mean, you can make it any kind of way that you want. I just like a red tongue and pink nose because who doesn't want to have a little bit of yellow in there underneath? So I will attach both of those, but these are just cute little reminders just about sticking together with your friends. Just remember, it takes a long time to be a good friend, so don't rush into it. And more than anything, pray for your friend. I love you guys.